welcome to Revelations of a Delusional Knitter. This is episode 105. I am Angela, your host, and it is Wednesday, October 29th, 2014, aka my birthday. And that's about it for the day. So far, I've gone out and I got myself sushi for lunch, and I've just been being lazy and hanging around the house. And then when my husband gets home, I think we're going to get pizza, and I'll get some presents. And he bought me some cheesecake. And yeah. So luckily, this is my scheduled day off anyway, so that was pretty cool. Why don't we move on to updates and housekeeping, and then I'll talk about the other stuff that went on this week. So welcome if you are new. If you are returning, I thank you as always. And either way, I hope you enjoy and continue to watch the podcast. If you use iTunes, if you could leave a star rating and or review, I would appreciate it very much. Also on YouTube, you can leave comments and reviews, and if you're a member of Ravelry, come on over and join the Ravelry group and say hi. Week in review. So yesterday, my mom had to go into Boston to have the battery on her pacemaker swapped out. And I hate driving in Boston. It is the worst, most atrocious thing ever. But she obviously needs a ride home, right? So I'm not going to say no. I don't mind picking people up in Boston. I don't like driving, but if somebody needs a ride, I will go get them. It made me laugh because as I was doing it yesterday, I remember years and years ago when my husband and I were dating, my friend and I went on a trip. So we flew out of Logan, and I had said, I didn't know him very, very long, and I said, oh, do you want to pick us up at the airport when we get in? And he was like, nope. And I laughed thinking he was joking, and he's like, I'm not joking. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I wasn't mad or anything, because it really is bad. I don't blame anybody for not wanting to do it. So we just took the, Air Flight Line or whatever bus thing, and then he picked us up from there. But I don't blame him at all. So I spent 7 hours picking her up and driving her home. I did stay with her for a little while just to make sure that she was okay and everything before I left, and she appeared perfectly fine and said she felt fine. So she also lives in a senior place, so they actually have the pull string thing if there's an emergency, and there are nurses on site, so I wasn't too concerned about leaving her. But Boston, it took me 30 minutes to get across the state, because I live in central Mass. So it only took 30 minutes. It took me another hour to go 2 or 3 miles through Boston to the hospital. Is that not completely and absolutely totally ridiculous? Yeah. And then I was sitting here all day knitting, waiting for them to call me to say when she could go. And they called me at 3. And I was like, fantastic, because we're going to be in Boston right during rush hour. And we were, and it took probably a good hour or hour and a half to get out of the city, just to get back onto the highway where you were actually moving. Ugh. And then she probably lives halfway from Boston to my house. But then, because of where she lives and where I live, it's easier to go, if you go the highway, it's fine, but you have to go this way and then this way, to get the highway. Or you can go straight, but it's pretty much the same amount of time. It's about 45 minutes to an hour. So then after all that, I think I got her home about 8. We had to stop at Walmart because she needed a prescription filled that she had to take that night. So we stopped at Walmart and got some coffee and, had to wait for the prescription and everything. So I think I got to her house at 8. So I left her house at 9 something. So I got home at 10. So I left my house at 3 and I got home at 10 just to go pick somebody up from the hospital. That's just ridiculous. And the traffic and the pedestrians. And I have a really good sense of direction, and I'm really good at directions. I can sit at the computer and look at a map and pretty much memorize the route and then go somewhere and be fine and get home. I never need reverse directions, because once I've done it, I can get back out and go back home without any assistance whatsoever. And I usually look at Google Maps before I leave and take a little piece of paper and write my own cryptic little shorthand directions, and I'm fine. But forget it in Boston. Just forget it. There's no way. I can look at the map, and when I'm in there, it looks nothing like the map did, and it's just a disaster. And people drive absolutely nuts. Nobody stops for a red light. They all go through it, so then when your light turns green, there's 10 cars in the way blocking the intersection for every single light. It's just nuts. It's just absolutely nuts. I can't stand being stuck in traffic. I'm the type of person that will drive like back roads instead because I can't stand traffic. I don't mind driving. And like I said, I'm very good at directions, but I hate traffic. I hate it. I cannot stand it. I hate being stuck on the highway. I don't want to say it freaks me out. Like, I don't have like a nervous breakdown or anything, but it makes me very uncomfortable being trapped in a metal box with lots of other ones around you. I don't like it. So that was yesterday. Thank God I have today off and tomorrow. I did get a notice that I won a door prize for Spinzilla. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I ended up joining a team because I figured, and other people did too, that teams had 25 people. So if there were teams that didn't have 25 people yet, they were asking rogue spinners to join up. And I figured, hey, my contribution is better than zero if they don't have a team member, right? So I ended up joining Team Story. And they publish a lot of books, like the what is it called? The Fleece and Fiber Source book, and the new one that just came out by Beth Smith, and I can't think of a lot of the other ones off the top of my head, but they publish a lot of those books. And so they said what the prizes were, and I have almost every single one. So I said, well, I have all of them but like the Field Guide to Fleece and Fiber, and they were also giving away a fiber prize. So I said, well, either one of those would be fantastic because I already have the other books, so we'll see what I get. I haven't heard yet. But that was exciting because I wasn't even going to join a team, and I didn't intend on winning anything, and I guess I did. On to Revelations. So I haven't done anything else with the Knitting Guild Association Master Hand Knitter program, but I was hoping either today or tomorrow or both to finish that up because I only have one swatch left. I do have a bunch of written work, and I wanted to review the entire thing before I submitted it, and I will go over it on a podcast episode. If you're interested, you can see what it's all about. So I'm hoping to have that wrapped up real soon. February Lady Sweater hasn't seen any love. My socks have seen some love. I'm onto the heel increases, or gusset increases, really. And so one is almost done. You can see my markers there, and the gusset starting to form. And this yarn is pretty cool. I like how it's coming out. And the other one, I did pick up the other one the other day because I wanted to catch up to this one. Because I'd like to keep them around the same spot. So this one I just started the gusset increases. So those are going well. And Loopy Academy. So the cowl project is done. One of the three, but I can't show it yet because that's Astrid, the one that I designed. But I started the hat project the other day. This is Tosh Sport in the colorway Nostalgia, and I like it a lot. It's a purple with some greenish brown in there. And I'm doing the Star Anise hat. It's a lovely twisted stitch pattern. I hate knitting twisted stitches, but I love the way they look. So the ribbing was excruciatingly painful to complete because it was 2 inches of ribbing, but I did it. And now you can see the pattern starting to form there. It's coming out pretty good. Don't be alarmed, this stretches a lot. It's on 16-inch needles. What I did do, though, and I find happens sometimes, when you're a more experienced knitter, sometimes you assume things. And, yeah. The ribbing is 1 by 1. So it was a, twisted stitch knit and a purl. And then when I went to start the chart for the lace and, traveling stitches, I did the first round and I was like, this does not look right. And I'm like, and these decrease stitches are really hard to manipulate. It shouldn't be that hard. And so I undid the round and did it again, and I was like, it's still the same. It looks weird. Something's not right. So I brought the pattern up because I'd only printed out the second page with the chart, not the big photograph. And so I brought the photograph on the pattern up, and I'm like, you idiot. That's not right at all. I knit the ribbing, knit 1, purl 1. It said in the instructions, purl 1, knit 1. It's in the round. So what happened was when I started the patterning portion, I was off by a stitch because I had started with a knit 1 instead of a purl 1. So I undid the round again, moved my marker over a stitch, and now it's fine, and now it looks right, and now it's not as hard to knit because I'm not trying to knit the wrong stitches together. So yeah, and I'm pretty confident that it will be okay. The other thing with this pattern was it suggested a tubular cast on. It's got a lot more stretch than the standard long tail, and oh my god, was that hard to do. I was watching a video, I had to write it down on a piece of paper. Once I wrote it down on a piece of paper, actually, then I was able to do it. But I was watching a video, and I'd watch and I'd be able to do it, and then she moved on to something else, you know, starting the round or whatever, and I'd be like, wait, what? Because I had to cast on 126 stitches. So I'd back up the video, watch it again, be fine, and then she'd move on again, and I'd be like, wait, what? So once I wrote it down, it was fine, and I had to do it twice, because the first time it was not very neat. And I think I would be able to do it again now. I don't know. It was a little weird. You held the yarn the same as the long tail cast on, but the way you wrapped the yarn was very, very different. And I think that's also what made it difficult, is that I know how to do a long tail cast on. So I think my fingers kept wanting to do the long tail, and that's not what I was supposed to be doing. So it worked out fine in the end, but it was a little challenging. New cast on. The other thing I'm working on is a test knit, which I can show you because she posted a photo of it on a Ravelry board, so it's public. This is a really cool pattern, and once I finish it and everything, get everything done, I'll give you the details of it. It won't be out for a while though, because I think it's for spring 2015. But it's this really cool shawl with this like slip stitch ridge increase thing. So it's coming out very, very nice, and it's a nice, easy, memorizable pattern, and it's a lot of fun. And this is some Knit Pick Stroll that I had in my stash that I frogged something. As you can see, the top is, because it was already knit, it's kind of mushy. Down the bottom it looks better, but once it's blocked it'll be fine. So that's going well, and I'm almost done with this because now I have 40 more rows, I think, according to the pattern. So that's pretty cool, and that should be done soon. And that's it for Revelations. I meant to say in the beginning to apologize in advance for any weird throat noises, sneezes, sniffles, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting an allergy test done on Tuesday, and I have to stop taking any allergy medicine. So I've been sneezing, coughing, clearing my throat, making weird noises for the past couple of days. It is what it is. String theory. I'm still on the road bug. I haven't really done much with that. I was doing for the Spindle Mania group on Ravelry, which is for Turkish spindles. I was trying to do a challenge for the month of October. As you can see, this is an epic fail because the challenge ends next week, and there is no way I will spin up 2 ounces by then. So I give up. But this spindle I wanted to show you, this is a Buckeye spindle. They do this really cool thing with dyed, stabilized wood for the arms, and they come out so cool. So this is one I got recently. Maybe use the excuse that my birthday was coming up to purchase this one. But I really liked it, and it's really cool. It's one of the larger sizes for them, and it spins beautifully, and I like it a lot. One day I will finish spinning up that BFL. Scrolls. I do have a book review for this episode, and it is Ahead for Trouble, and I will insert that here. This is a review of Ahead for Trouble, What to Knit While Catching Crooks, Chasing Clues, and Solving Murders. 20 hats and adornments inspired by lady detectives of the Roaring Twenties. As you can clearly see from the photo on the cover of the book, that these are most definitely inspired by 20s fashion. And it is self-published by Julie Turjoman. And I will tell you what I like about this book. Here's the table of contents, and there's a nice little picture of all of the patterns with clickable links to the pages right there. That's really cool. And then after the table of contents, there's the anatomy of a hat. So if you're not familiar with the terminology, you haven't knit a lot of hats or what have you, it goes over that. That's really cool, especially since some of these hats are a little bit different from traditional hats from today. Then it goes into each type of hat and the different characteristics. There's a cap or beanie, there's a cloche, there's a head wrap, there's a pillbox, tam or beret, and a toque. So it goes into all the different types there. Next up, we go into before you start. Goes over sizing and taking measurements, substituting yarn, charts versus row by row, written instructions, getting creative with embellishments, because pretty much every pattern in this book has some way that you can embellish it, make it unique for yourself, and add your own little detail. Swatching, special techniques that are used in the book, and inspiration. So next I will show you a couple of the patterns in the book. The first one is Daisy Dalrymple. So each pattern has an initial photograph with the hat and the accessory, so you can see them together. And then each item on its own has its own page. So here's the Daisy cloche, and there's a link to the Ravelry page right on the pattern page for each one of the patterns. That's pretty cool. I like this hat a lot. It's got some beaded detail. You can go crazy with this huge funky button embellishment. It's really cool. I like the colors chosen for this one as well. The green really shows off the leaf pattern there. And then its coordinating accessory is the daisy collar. And this is a very long scarf type wrap, but it's also actually got snaps over here to keep it closed so that it will stay around your neck. I thought that was very unique and different, and it's a beautiful pattern and it coordinates with the hat. The next one is Kate Shackleton, and that one is a toque and a bag, and excuse me, again, you can embellish everything here. You can see the buttons, so whatever your choice of yarn colors and things, you can really make these unique fun items for yourself. Here's a close-up of the hat. And again, we have that link to Ravelry right there. This is a really cool hat, very different. I like the textured stitch pattern on it. And then the camera bag would make a wonderful tablet bag. Nowadays, we don't carry around big, huge cameras. So I really like that a lot. I like what they did with the color work, and again, you can get a really cool big button and really make it unique. Another one is the Maisie Dobbs, and this is what I think of when I think of the 20s. When I show you the other picture of the hat, you'll see what I mean, but that's the hat I really think of when I think of the 20s. And this one has coordinating fingerless mitts that go with it, so that's really cool. And I did want to show you each pattern like this. The very next page goes into the character that inspired the pattern. So each one of the patterns has a blurb about the character whose name the pattern is about. So this is the hat, and I love this embellishment. That is so cool with those flowers there, and I love the yarn color choices. It's really a funky looking hat. I will show you too another picture of this hat because I love the crown decreases. They're so clean, and the spiral is really nice. I like that a lot. And then the accessory for this one is that bag. Whoops. Technical difficulties. Hold please. There we go. Not the bag, the driving mitts. And I liked those a lot as well. I'll do that again. And the accessory that goes with this one are the fingerless mitts, Maisie driving mitts. And I love the color work. I really like how the thumb also has the small little bit of color detail, just like the ribbing on the hand. Really cool pattern. I really like it a lot. And that's only showing you 6 of the patterns in the book, and there's 20. So there are a lot of really cool patterns in here. After all the patterns, there's a resource guide to fiction's lady detectives, and I really liked this a lot because what they're doing is they're showing you which patterns were inspired by what characters. So if you'd like to go look up the books, you can do so. I thought that was a really awesome way to tie it together and actually give you the resource to find the characters out there and read about them if you'd like. Then there's abbreviations and techniques, so your typical, knitting information that you need to do the patterns. And then after that, there's a bibliography, which is awesome because if there's any particular technique you're having a problem with or you want to learn more about, you can go and find these resources and knitting books. Then there's yarn resources, which I love because if you liked any of the yarn that you saw in one of the patterns, here's where you can get it. And what I really liked is this, Notion resources. Because a lot of times you'll see a pattern with a button or a closure or something like that, and they don't always tell you where they got that from. Since this whole book is pretty much all about embellishing, it's really nice that they gave you information on where those embellishments came from. So if you want to get something similar or try and get the exact thing, you know where to go. Really awesome. I liked that a lot. Then there's acknowledgments for the book and about the author. And I hope you enjoyed this review. I think this is a really cool book and very different and unique. So the ebook version is $19.95. The print version is $26.95. To get the ebook and print version, the combo is $46.90. And if you order before October 31st, if you order the combo, you get for free 6 patterns in the collection called Head for Fashion by the author. If you order one or the other, so if you order just the ebook or just the print version, then you have the option of getting 1 pattern from the Head for Fashion collection for free. Really, really cool. So I will put a link in the show notes to this book and where you can get it, and it is also on Ravelry, so you can look it up there as well. If you look up Ahead for Trouble or the author Julie Turjoman, and it's a really cool, unique, fun book, and I liked it a lot. So that's our book review, and it's a really cool book, and I really enjoyed looking through it and reviewing it and preparing for the review. Very interesting patterns, and I think it's really cool and unique. For Testaments, I have nothing. Don't have any nifty new products I've gotten recently. For Heresy, my designing. The Astrid Mystery Cowl Knit Along is on Clue 3, was released for today. So that's almost done, and once the knit along is done, then I will post up the pattern for itself. If you prefer to look at patterns before you purchase them, then it will be available then. I also have a new design that I finished that are fingerless mitts, but I'm going to hold off on showing those because I'm going to try and submit them to a publication. And I should hear back. I think they were going to wrap up their reviews by November 15th. So if it's not chosen for that one, I'll release it then because it is more of a fall pattern. I don't want to wait until next year. I think I've said that before with designing. I'm really bad about not prepping ahead because publications need the designs in way before the actual season. And when I design, I kind of want to do it now. Like now is fall. I want to design for fall now, not in April. So I don't know. I'll have to work on that if I want to start submitting stuff to publications. Another thing, I was thinking of not doing it. I was on the fence about it. I wasn't sure. Then we were talking about it in one of the VKNs recently, is Stephen West Knits has a new mystery knit along for 2014, and I got the yarn for that one, and I'm going to do that, and then Clue comes out in a couple days. I actually have to wind up some yarn. So in his typical fashion, it's a whole bunch of different colors, and what it was is you had to pick 3 colors that were kind of the same value, and then your main color would be a drastic contrast to that. So these are the 3 colors I picked that had the same value. And then I'm still undecided, although I'm leaning towards the yellow on my contrast color. So I was either going to do this purple as the contrast, or this yellow as the contrast, and I think I might end up doing the yellow. I like either one. Obviously I picked them, but I'm just thinking the yellow. My husband likes the yellow too. Not that he's gonna wear the shawl or anything, but I often ask, hey, if I can't decide, I'm like, hey, pick one. He liked the yellow as well, so I don't know. We'll see when I start it. I only have 2 days to figure it out. Spin a shawl, I haven't worked on that yet. I'm trying to finish up knitting some things before I knit the shawl for my hand spun. I showed that pattern in the last episode, I think. Hogwarts at Ravelry, the new rotation started today, and that's really exciting. There's a whole bunch of different classes that you can, there's prompts for you to do projects for that you try to fit into that prompt. I was very excited to see that they also do things like the Historical Society. You can submit whips, things that were unfinished that you decide to finish up. You can submit them to that and things like that. There was also one that was like, revive something from a death potion. So if you had a whip that's been lying around that you haven't touched in forever, if you finish that up, that qualifies for that. So it's really cute, and it's a lot of fun to fit the projects into the prompts. The Ravelry Book Club will be starting a new book on November 1st, and that's going to be Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. So I'm going to start reading that soon. And the Seasonal Sock Center Knit Along on my board is still going on until December 20th. There's lots of great sock pictures on there. So you still have plenty of time to submit some socks. I do not have any Ravelry patterns for today because I was running around doing stuff, and I did the book review before I recorded, and sorry, my hair's all over my desk. I'm picking it up. So I did not have time to look at any. I am Space Cadet today, huh? Oh! Tangent. When I went out shopping earlier, my radio station often says like weird, stupid things. Apparently, there was a competition in Korea for spacing out. Like, literally spacing out. It's a 3-hour competition where the contestants actually sit there, like, zone out, and the judges try to startle them or make them laugh or, whatever. So you're almost like in a meditative, spaced out zone. And you have to stay there for 3 hours without, making any quick movements or being startled or laugh. Wow. I don't think I could sit still for 3 hours staring off into space. Don't think that's possible. Just reminded me of that. So, no Ravelry patterns for today. Delusional Jabber. I finished Allegiant by Veronica Roth, and that was very, very good. Like I said before, though, the end climax really surprised me. I started Plum Spooky by Janet Ivanovich, and that's the Stephanie Plum Mysteries, and this is one of the Between the Numbers ones, and I figured Plum Spooky, hello, Halloween. Yes, so I'm almost done with that. It's like 75% done. Then for TV, Walking Dead, always caught up on, of course. My poor husband stayed up last Sunday until I got home from work, and then we watched it because he taped it. I also caught up on a bunch of episodes of Castle yesterday, because I was not caught up on that at all. I'm upset that there's a lot of stuff I was not caught up on, but not that far behind, that they took off of On Demand. So I'm like, I pay this cable company so much money. Like, really, you can't store these shows for a couple of weeks after they air? It's ridiculous. So, I don't know. Like Legends with Sean Bean, they only have 9 and 10 left up there. What am I supposed to do with that? That's not helping me. I'm a little upset about that. Because I've gotten way behind. Doctor Who, I'm only behind like 2. And I never started that Graceland with David Tennant. So I gotta get on that too. I have a problem here. Although I did just get, I don't know if it's gonna help me. I don't know if it's my computer. I did get a notice from Comcast that they upgraded, and you can upgrade your modem for free to a higher speed modem. Because a lot of times what the problem is, I'll watch a show in here while I'm knitting, and it'll go fine. And then it'll go to the next episode, and it's skipping and hanging up and freezing and jumping all around, and no matter what I do, it's like stuck like that. Like I'll shut down my browser and try it again, it's still hiccuping. I'll shut down, reboot my computer, and it'll still do that. So I don't know. Then I get frustrated and give up, and I'm like, forget it. Then I'll watch a podcast or something. But for those of you who haven't watched for a long time, I have a little yarn-eating monster cat in this house, so I cannot knit in another room. Sometimes I can. If she's taking a nap or something, I can sneak in there and knit something if she's not around, but she's typically around and likes to sit with me on the couch, so even if she's taking a nap, if she sees me on the couch watching TV, she'll get up and come over. So, yeah. What am I to do? I can't not knit. TV is not as important as knitting. It's just not. So, yeah. That's my problem with the TV issue. I think that's it for this episode. I always look around like I'm gonna actually see something I forgot. Like it's gonna jump out at me, but yeah, never happens. So yes, that's all that's been going on here. Everything's going pretty well. And knitting is going very well. Spinning not so much. TV not so much. Reading is going well. Work is work. It's fine. And I'm excited because I get birthday presents later. And pizza. My choice. I haven't had pizza in forever. My husband asked me this morning if I wanted anything special for dinner, and I was like, I am craving pizza. So pizza it is. So I hope you are having a wonderful time. We have some nice weather. It's been raining a lot lately, but it's been warm, so that's fine. And I think that's it. It's very fall, though there are leaves everywhere. I was laughing at the cats because they're in the window, like, entranced, looking everywhere. Leaves, like, snow and stuff, I don't think they care because the flakes are so small, but the leaves are big. You know, when they come down and they go like this, so the cats love watching the leaves in the window. And it was warm enough out today, I didn't crack it actually, I opened it, the window in the dining room, so they're sitting in it watching the leaves right now. And that's it. So I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have, oh, don't forget, I'll record before then, but November 22nd in the evening on a Saturday is the next virtual knit night. So if you want to put that on your calendar, you can come join us. It's a lot of fun. And that's it. So thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful week or whatever it is until I record again. Happy knitting and spinning.